It seems kind of strange that this is an Italian dish, basically, but we're going to pair French wine. Who I am is Butch Milbrand. What I do for a living is grow grapes, oversee the winery. The cooking part is a release, be able to prepare a dish and people enjoy it. My second passion is aviation. My third passion is motorcycles.
Have you checked the oven? I can smell
I
your
need to.
pavlova.
I need to check that. Excuse me. We're going to make what I call Tuscan ravioli, and I just made up that name because, you know, ravioli is Italian, right? So I call it Tuscan ravioli. And this, again, is a very, very simple dish. It is so great. The peppery of the spicy, hot Italian sausage, the sweetness of the peas, you know, the soft smoothness of the cream, and then the cheese, used cheese ravioli. It's wonderful. We're going to start off with browning. Well, actually, we're not. We're going to sweat an onion, and then we're going to do the same thing to that hot Italian sausage. We're going to get it cooked, but we don't want it to take on any color. So this just needs to be a nice dice. You're not trying to hide the onions any place, so. Okay, that fire sounds just a little warm, so we'll give that a toss. Turn it down to something like medium-low. Put a little salt to it. And in this pan, we will do the Italian sausage, and be sure not to get it brown. Just get it cooked through. And this is about a little over a pound of bulk Italian sausage. Break this into smaller pieces. This dish doesn't get a lot of seasoning. The Italian sausage has plenty of seasoning all by itself, but you add some Parmesan cheese to it as you finish it. We'll give it a little more saltiness as well. So don't over season this as you're starting into it. Just keep working this sausage so that it doesn't brown. You want to keep turning it. This is an Italian dish, basically, but we're going to pair French wine. I think that the Viognier that we make has so many layers of complexity and flavor. I think it goes very well with this dish because there's a heaviness of that pasta dish with all that cream and cheese. The Viognier, even though it's usually a florally wine, and this one is slightly floral, but it has some nice structure, some nice acid in the back, you know, to cleanse the palate. And I think it's going to be a good wine with this. Yeah, that's starting to get a little color now. It's losing the pink and getting kind of brown all over, but not crispy. Just cooked through. And the onions, doing the same thing. We haven't put any color on these onions either. They're just sweating nicely. So, okay, so the pasta water is coming to a boil now. Getting nice and warm. So we're going to add the ravioli. Comes frozen. It's easy to use. Just throw it in the water. Takes 4 or 5 minutes. As soon as it floats to the surface, you're good to go. I like to use a 3-cheese ravioli. It goes very well with this dish. I'm going to make the sauce and put it all together in this pan, but I'm going to drain this meat and get the oil off of it first because we really are focusing on the cream or half and half, whatever you happen to use, and the cheese. We're not really focusing on oiliness here. So this will get drained. Nice. There was a good amount of pork fat in there that we really don't need in this dish, so we're going to eliminate that. Rinse this pan out, and we'll start all over. Now we'll add these onions to this pan, and we'll add the meat back to it, and just put it on a very low heat. And we're going to add a good amount of half and half. Sometimes I use cream, just depends on what I got handy. You can see that red, that's the spiciness of that pasta. That'll get in the cream. I think we might enjoy that. So we'll just keep this at a simmer. We're going to simmer that milk product a little bit, get it to start thickening. And as soon as this ravioli is finished, we'll drain it out of there and put it in this. That gluten effect will kind of help thicken it, and we'll add some Parmesan cheese and some frozen peas. We're going to take it off the heat and let it rest until the pasta is ready. Yeah, just let it simmer for a minute and come back up to temperature. We'll add a little Parmesan cheese to it, give it a little flavor, a little density. So now you add a few frozen peas just for color and for sweetness. You know, you really enjoy these peas in here. And all you have to do is just bring them up to temperature and you're ready to serve. So we're going to plate this as in a pasta course. Instead of an entree, You know, small portions, but enough so that you really can enjoy the dish and get an idea of the flavor. 2 of these raviolis is probably plenty for most anyone. I have served it where there's only 1 ravioli on a plate, but it doesn't look like much food, but that is really rich and fairly spicy. A little Parmesan on top, a little minced parsley to it, just for another little touch of interest. There, we're ready. Time to eat. I think we've been 3 times now to Italy, and it's probably our favorite place to go visit. It's just beautiful, and the food is wonderful, and the architecture is wonderful, and it's just a great place to go visit.
I don't do any of the planning. I tell him, okay, what time are we leaving the house that I have to be ready to go and packed by? And I'm usually up till midnight the night before packing.
And then you're 15 minutes late.
I'm always late.
I don't get a hold of travel agents or any travel bureaus or anything. I just go online and I do it all myself, and it takes hours and hours. So by the time you get it figured out, you know a lot about where you're going, what you're going to do. You know where the best deals are. But
I have to tell on him. Sometimes he'll book reservations, can't remember where he did it.
No.
When the first time we went to Italy, this one gal got all the planning done. She sent us this 3-ring binder of all this information. So we're getting ready to leave Verona, wasn't it? And drive separately in a car by ourselves. And Judy said, do you guys have your book? Do you have your instructions to the villa? Oh yeah, Butch says. Hours later, we were driving all over the countryside. We were lost big time, weren't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
we were. We had to call home, have our vineyard foreman get the book, read us the instructions so we could find the villa, because it was way up in the mountains.
And this was way back when you didn't have international calling on your cell phone unless you went and bought this special phone. So we were buying phone cards, trying to call. When we finally get a hold of them, at the house, at the villa there, the other couples that were there, they were like, oh, they're gonna be fighting. We better separate them, blah, 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 blah. We were just so thrilled to be rescued. We thought we were going to spend the whole next week driving around looking for these guys. We bonded, didn't we?
We bonded big time. Yeah, that's the fun thing about us. If something gets really stressful, we get closer together.